Hi all, welcome back. More Red Storm, Dark Blue Defection, Scenario 5, Dark Blue Defection. We're still on turn 5. I left things last night. After carrying out our last bombing run, and wasn't too sure if we were getting away with how we done it. Well, it was the end of the night anyway, but I did pop a question out there, and it was, well, I'm sure if you've watched it you would have seen, it was regarding me hitting this hex first for a movement point, but not wanting to set my IP. Well, to be honest, I wasn't facing the direction. I could have free turned to face the direction. However, I chose not to do that and chose to spend, well, and then take all the fire from the SAM, from the Inherent, from the 2K22. And then my second movement point, I then turned to face my target, set my IP, and then moved into the hex. Actually, I'm wanting to say, have I missed a movement point there then? Would I not have had one movement point left over? Because I was in, no, hang on. No, that's right, because I was in that hex and I moved into there for 1 point, turned for the second point, and moved in there for the third point. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I was okay. So yeah, I went and asked the question if that was legal. I felt like I was sneaking away from avoiding the modifiers. Well, not just the modifiers, the actual SAM possible hit modifier, which is a -2, and we actually got that within the SAM attack. Ended up with we received no damage, but we got the SAM possible hit outcome. So, and then with a modifier, it would have been a -3 taken into our bomb run if we had done it all in the first way that I'd said. However, I didn't do it that way, and I felt like I hadn't started my bombing run, but I wasn't sure. So I posted the question. I got one reply saying that, yeah, what was his name? Marky Mark said, yeah, I think that's right. Sounds right, I think he said. He reminded me of if you took a SAM avoidance, that would cancel your bomb run. However, no, hang on, we wouldn't have even started the bomb run though. That's my point. Yeah. So I'm wondering if maybe he's not quite fully grasped. Well, when I tell you the rest of his comment, I've not got the comment here, I'm just taking it from the top of my head. Was I not just looking at that just now? No, it was regarding bombing run, yeah. If a fight is marked with a BVR avoid or SAM avoid marker for any reason, the bomb run is cancelled. However, if he received the SAM avoid marker, he wouldn't even be able to start his bomb run, would he? I'm assuming SAM avoid markers are something that come off at the end of turn as well. Let's see if I can find that. Just looking on the admin phase. Maybe not. Remove SAM launch markers radio. I can't see the removal of SAM avoid markers. Well, we've never had a SAM avoid marker, so let me have a look at that. Yeah, okay, so just reading about that, it's on page 27, 15.33, SAM avoidance. If the flight must perform a SAM avoidance manoeuvre, consult the SAM avoidance chart and play raid card 1. Turn and move the flight into either of the indicated hexes as though conducting regular movement, and dive one altitude band if not already on deck. The SAM avoidance marker uses up one movement point. If the flight has no movement points remaining, place a SAM avoid marker. In its next movement phase, the flight must conduct a SAM avoidance manoeuvre to remove the marker. Okay, and the very last sentence says they cannot initiate air-to-air combat or make air-to-ground attacks during that movement phase. Yeah, flights that perform a SAM avoidance marker or are marked with a SAM avoid marker must immediately roll to see if they jettison air ground ordnance. And then, like I say, the last sentence says they cannot initiate. So yeah, so if I had got a SAM avoidance marker in there, I would have had to do that. Well, actually, I had movement points left, so I would have got kind of scattered into a different hex, dropped an altitude bad. It would have thrown me all to pot, wouldn't it? And then I wouldn't have been able to actually carry out the run that turn. I needed to wait in my next movement phase and start again. So anyway, he feels like it was all right to do that, and just reminded me of that, the SAM avoidance. But we never got SAM avoidance. What he says next is, and I glanced at it last night before I went to bed, but I looked at it more closely. What he says that AA are free to fire whenever the expenditure of a movement point. However, he says if you see a flight moving away and not pointing in the direction of its bombing run, then you won't fire your AA. And of course, then it clicked to me. I hadn't mentioned that I was playing this solo, so there's another little bit you can kind of play with that a little bit from a solo perspective, because you can see if this was a 2-player game right now, and I was pointing that way. Now you could say, well, am I going to bomb one of these? Well, to be honest, I'm pointing in a direction that's not got any target. We know I've got bombs on board, so what you would do is you wouldn't then fire your SAM, you wouldn't then fire your AAA. Remember, that's all down to you then. It's not, because the bot right now will fire when it can. So yeah, you can kind of play around that a little bit. And obviously, the way I done it, I left myself pointing that way so that they would fire at me then I turn, set my IP, and then there's nothing more that can fire at me. So yeah, it's just one of the things that I don't know. Is there, again, within the solo rules, could something be added in there to tighten that up a little bit by even just a die roll to say that? I don't know how you would be able to do that, to be honest. You know, you would have to come to the conclusion that you know that we are going to do a bomb run, so it might not fire at SAM and it might not fire at CAA. But how you would be able to come about that, I don't know. But you can see how you can avoid. Well, I was able to avoid a -3 modifier to that. And if I got, well, we calculated it, didn't we? If I'd got the -3 modifier, there was going to be no effect. And I took it that we didn't get the -3 modifier, and we've ended up with the radar suppressed for 6 turns. So, okay. But, well, thanks for your reply, Mark. Whether John might catch up on that and follow up just to maybe make sure, maybe add a bit more to that. But I'm assuming the guy's got that right, and it sounds right, and it's how I thought about it. It's just a wee bit annoying that you can play with that. You can deliberately do it, because like I say, if you were playing the Warsaw Pact when I done that, you would wait until I set my IP there, then you'd fire at me, so that I then took the -3 modifier into the attack, into the bombing. Okay, right. That is all. So yeah, I was feeling a little bit burnt out last night. I wasn't too sure, but I've got up this morning and, well, here I am again. Although it's chucking it down outside, so I thought I'll get a bit in, and hopefully that'll let the rain die down and maybe get out with the dogs in a bit. So where are we? Well, it's Warsaw Pact's turn. I can see. I think I want to say we've moved over flights actually, haven't we? So we could probably just create a part here to finish this turn, I would think. That's one of our flights as well. I know it's just got a red dice. I'm balancing everything carefully here, which is not ideal. I think I need to move the dice actually. That's a bit silly. Right, okay, I've removed some of that tower cubes and jets. So I've just put them at the back here, so we'll remember that's a 3 suppression on that 2K22 and a 6 suppression on that one. And remember, the 6 isn't going to tick down at the end of this turn, but the 3 will, because that's how it works. Right. Okay, so their turn, and yeah, I was just checking. That is all our flights activated, isn't it? We've got 5. Well, actually, I need to add 1. We've got 6, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the reason we've got 6 is because we split this. Yeah. So, and then they've got 5. So 1 is away aborting there, which hasn't moved yet. That one has moved. That's 2, and I think the other 3 are down here. Well, one of them's moved, so he's got Wolf, Mechlin, and is it Reef? No? Yeah, Reef. Way up the top there. So, yeah, let's just roll a dice and see, because we don't need to draw chits around. They're just going to move their last 3 flights. I'll just roll. I don't know the suits. I get the feeling they're both hearts, but I'll roll and I can re-roll. What did card 5? No, it's a 6 I've rolled, which is a spade, so I think that might be Reef. It is. Yeah, so Reef's a spade. That's what I want to check. Wolf is a heart and Mechlin is a heart. Right enough, yeah. So he's the aborted flight. He's just trying to get off the edge of the map. So when we look at bot flight actions, primary actions, dash throttle, climb a level if able, and move towards the friendly map edge. If possible, exit playing area and recover. Okay, so at high altitude, he can dash at, for a speed of 6. So that's what he's going to do. Way up the top now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, so next turn he is going to leave the map. In fact, and he doesn't need to set dash, which I won't do. I'll override that fact. I mean, it says set dash. You know, again, that could be amended to say set dash or combat throttle, whichever reaches his goal. So you can see there that I only need to set combat throttle to get off the map. So, okay, so that's him moved. I'll just mark him finished. Okay, so now they've got 2 flights to move, just Wolf and Mechlin. They're both hearts. So, well, I need to check first. Based on proximity, and again, I'm going to add in 2 detected human player flights. And remember, we've got to prioritise good order if we can. So Wolf, well, these are both disordered, and this is disordered now. So there's not an option for them to target well, actually, hang on. Mechlin, I don't think Chevy's detected, is he? No, he's not. So that doesn't apply, that doesn't work, sorry, I'm just out of camp. Mechlin's actually within 7 of Chevy, but he's undetected. So that doesn't come into it either. So, unfortunately, they are both still going to consider these disordered flights, because that's the only flights that have got detected. And I'm saying detected, hang on. Oh, Vegas is undetected as well. Yeah, because he went into air-to-air, didn't he? So they're going to be after Dodge and the 108 flight. I see, if I'd got away a bit quicker, they would have went after that 108, and that would have been the crippled flight, and I wouldn't mind it so much. I suppose when you split these flights like this, that does seem to say I can do it. I don't think I've done anything that was out of order, splitting the flight. It made a bit of sense, really. So, well, who's close? Mechlin's 2 away from Dodge. Well, he's actually 3 away from 108 flight, so he's looking at Dodge. And Wolf is 1, 2, 3 away from... Oh no, we can't count in Vegas, sorry, because he's undetected. So Wolf is 1, 2, 3, 4 away from both of them. So, in actual fact, it's going to be Mechlin that's going to go first, and his target is going to be Dodge. He does have BVR weapons. There's no rules of engagement to stop it, so we're looking there. They are detected. However, dodge is at high altitude. He's at low altitude. There's nothing to stop him from zoom climbing though. I think you can do that. Well, whatever he's going to go into, you need to climb to high altitude, wouldn't you? Okay, so Mechlin is the next flight to move. So, and he can do either or. So we need to roll on this. Is that right? Yeah, so 6 or less is going to be attempt BVR. Right, 9 this time, so it's going to be air to air. So let's just see what it says then. Hang on, let me just check Mechlin. Yeah, he's only sitting at low altitude, he's no issues. Well, he has 1 damaged aircraft. That's his only issue. So, determine target select, nearest detected human player flight. That's going to be dodge. And the DBD rules want to prioritise a good ordered one, but we can't. So, we just need to go for the disordered one. And then if it was... we would select ties if it, we would randomly select ties if they were both as close. But dodge flight is just 1 hex closer. Okay. Combat or dash throttle, which is needed to engage. Well, I think just combat. However, with us having to zoom climb, that might be an issue. And I know that's kind of bad for his. He gets a bad modifier for that, doesn't he? So move to enter enemy flight hex at same altitude if able. So at same altitude if able, well, I think he can still. I think he can zoom climb. From rear hemisphere if possible, well, yeah, that's going to be, yeah, that's where, well, yeah, he's going to be able to do that easy. If engagement attempt not possible, move as close, yeah, okay. Right, so let's move across and look at what we're talking about here. So at low altitude, Mechlin's a MiG-23. So you can see at low, he's got a speed of 4 or he dashes at 5. Well, in actual fact, the 4 is probably okay. Goes, I think, oh yeah, that would allow him a free turn as well for his first climb. So I think we set the speed at 4. I just want to double check zoom climb. It's going to cost 3 movement points, isn't it? To climb from low to high. 6.33. 6.33. Zoom climbs. A flight that climbs twice or more in the movement phase is executing a zoom climb. The second and subsequent altitude band climbs cost 2 movement points per band, not 1. Place a zoom climb marker on the flight. In addition, defending flights that commence standard air against a higher altitude enemy flight are considered to have zoom climbed. Okay. Ah, okay. Well, how can... In addition, defending flights that commence standard air-to-air combat against a higher altitude enemy flight are considered to have zoom climbed prior to the combat and receive a manoeuvre rating penalty. That feels a bit harsh. So, well, hang on here then. Why would I... No, he's at high, Grant. Yeah. So, why would you not want to go into an attack at 1 band higher? You know what I'm saying? Because of that. It says defending flights that commence standard air-to-air combat against a higher altitude enemy flight are considered to have zoom climbed prior to the combat and receive a manoeuvre rating penalty. I don't get that. I mean, I thought when we commence, well, John's already spoke of this. In fact, yeah, the time I done it, I tried to stay at my higher altitude because I was one band higher, wasn't I? And he said, no, you've got to move to, well, it says it in the thing. It says you move, it says both flights are moved into the combat hex, retaining their current, oh, no, hang on. It talks about altitude as well. Yeah, the combat takes place in the defender's hex and altitude. So it takes place at the defending flight's altitude. Okay, well, you could still say that if the defending flight's at medium and we come in at high, although we fight at medium, he gets that zoom. That doesn't make sense. Because why does he have to be considered to have zoom climbed? Why does he need to climb up to him when we're fighting at his altitude? I don't know. I think I'm missing something there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody can work that one out for me. It doesn't seem to make sense to me anyway, but I'm sure I've been there before and it's been explained to me. Yeah, and I'm just while reading on there, I'm forgetting that laden flights and flights at combat throttle cannot zoom climb. So that means we cannot. Well, it's fine. It's fine still. So we set dash throttle. Sorry, the dog. I had her up here and then she's just fidgeting about, and then I take her down and she's wanting back up. Right. So we are setting dash throttle and get a 5 speed. Okay, so dash throttle set, speed of 5. And we want to get to high altitude and move into his hex. Okay, so that's right, isn't it? Yeah, because we're at low, the speed of 5. So I'm going to do, I'm going to climb one altitude band to medium. And that costs me a point, but I'm also going to, oh no, I can't take the 360-degree turn now, can I? Because I was at speed 5. Yeah. I wonder, could I have took set dash throttle, but only took 4 speed? And would that be allowed and enable me to zoom climb? Maybe not with that one, eh? Right, well, we'll stick with this anyway. So that cost me a movement point to climb to medium. I'm then going to spend, well, actually, you know what? I could do a free 30-degree turn there, right? With that climb to medium. And then I think I can do this in the same hex. If I can't, I could have done it in this hex anyway. You know, I could move one forward and then do it in there. But I think I can do it in this hex. So I'm now going to climb again, which is going to cost me 2 more movement points, and that zoom climbs me to high altitude, and I'm going to take another free 30-degree turn, which I believe I can do. So now I'm facing the way I want it. I'm at high, and I've got zoom. They're the ones that are on the back of the max turn markers too. Right, and I've got a zoom climb on there. Right, so 2 points left, and we're just going to move straight ahead into the hex. So I'll take that, cube off. 1, 2. We're in the hex. Now hang on, that's Mechlin. I'll put this stuff on his card then. So he's at high, he's dashed, and he's got a zoom climb on him, which is relevant to the combat. And that used up all his movement points. And we're going to attempt to engage and standard air. Okay. Alright, so they're just checking the engagement requirements. Defender's detected. Not started with friendly flight. See, it says there, defender within 1 hex and same altitude or 1 altitude below. So right now we could be at high, but there was nothing to send me to high. But if that then gives him a zoom climb, if he was at medium, I just don't understand how it's worded in the book there. It's maybe just me. Okay, well, we're both at high, so that's fine. If not in the same hex, well, it is in the same hex. Attacker's undeployed weapon, yep. And attacker not disordered, yeah. Everyone okay. So, right, again, though, we know this engagement isn't the easiest, because we're at night, we're detected. Hang on. He is actually not detected this time. The attacker. That's the first time I've ever had that, actually. So when it comes to us checking, we're going to need a 16. So let's hope that they don't get the 14. Right. So modifiers: aggression value, Mechlin is +1. No difference in altitude band. None of the rest apply to him. Anyway, they are going to apply to us. It's going to be a tough call for us to reach this, so kind of hoping he fails here. So he needs a 14, he's got a +1. Oh, 15. +1 makes it 16 as well. Right, well, okay, this could be bad actually. So now checking us, and like I say, we are checking an undetected flight. Yeah, because he's undetected at night. Our aggression value isn't good, is it? Is -1. Target in different altitude band. No, flight is disordered. Yep, that's another -1. That's -2. Target in rear hemisphere. Yep, that's a -3 to this, and we need a 16. You know what that means? Well, it's 19 or 20. Looking unlikely. Right, here we go. With a -3, we need a 16. Yeah, that's nowhere near it. So that's a fail. So we're going to go into this not a good state. So results are attacker yes, defender no. So attacker surprised, defender disadvantaged. Okay, so we'll do the attacker steps first. So Mechlin has 3 aircraft that can participate. One's damaged. However, we are applying Soviet doctrine, so it is going to be on the 2 column. Now, this is maybe where they might suffer. So the maneuver rate modifiers are, yeah, he's going to get both of them, isn't he? So he's going to get flight climb this movement phase, which is a -1. He's also going to get flight zoom climb this movement phase. Well, yeah, I think he's got to get both of them, but whether zoom climb's meant to be, you would only take the zoom climb rather than that one if you zoom climbed, I think it would say that, wouldn't it? It would say that if you zoom climbed, ignore that one, but take the -2 for that one. So I can only assume he gets both. So that's a -3 to his maneuver rating. Okay, so -3. So now we're going to check the maneuver differential and the aggression differential. So a quick look at the flights. We're both at high altitude. Remember, he's getting a -3 to his maneuver rating, so that's going to take that down to +2, and we are not getting any issues with it, so we're at +6. So that's a -4 for him and a +4 for us. So -4 for the first one. His aggression is +1. He's going to get some back here though, and we're -1. So he's going to get a +2 for that, isn't he? So that's taking him down to -2. Geometry is going to work for him. Yeah, he's going to get a +1 for that, taking him down to -1. I got surprise as well. So flight of surprise, or a +3 onto a -1. So that's taking him up to +2. Now, yeah, should we have considered disengaging here? It means we don't get to take the shots, but remember, we'd only be rowing on the one column. However, we do want to have 2 aircraft, but we're disordered. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Enemy flight disordered. So that's another +1. Did I miss that? That was -4. That was +2. So -2, -1, 0, +3. -3. So it'd be 0 modifiers. However, I could be disengaging here. I know there's some bad things can happen, but I don't think we don't scatter on anything. We're at high altitude. I think that's a good thing. You don't scatter. You don't get to take shots. Oh, hang on. Do you not have to check morale then with that? Right, I need to have a look at disengaging, I think. Right, hang on here. I just came across, well, this is where disengagement adds, but it says special combat rules, but just look at this. Climbing before combat. It says in standard air combat, decrease a flight's maneuver rating by 1 if it climbed in that movement phase. Decrease the rating by 2 instead if the flight zoom climbed. A flight maneuver rating may never be less than 0. Well, I think that's poorly worded in the player aid then, but that does tell us what I considered, unless, again, maybe you would have read it that way. So we would only get the -2 for that, instead of, we wouldn't get the flight climb this movement phase, we would just get the flight zoom climb this movement phase. So that was an extra -1 modifier I gave them, which I think makes me want to say that was a -3. That would take it down to -1, 0, +1, +4, -3. So I think he's sitting at +1, and unless we disengage. So let's look at disengagement then while we're there. Standard air combat prior to the maneuver rolls. Yeah, because he's not rolled yet. Yeah, as long as I do it before he rolls. The defending flight can elect to disengage. Disengaging flights do not roll for maneuver and take no shots. Flights attacking a disengaging flight apply a negative modifier to the maneuver roll. Disengaging flights do not scatter and are not marked with a maneuver marker after combat. They apply a -2 modifier to the morale table roll. So they do still roll in morale. Yeah, that would have been too good, I think. So they don't scatter and they're not marked with a maneuver marker. And we're giving them a -2 modifier. The downsides are we don't get to fire any shots. We don't get to check for firing any shots. We get a -2 modifier to morale table roll. I mean, we are already disordered. So and going by why do you look through all this, Grant? So if we don't disengage, he's going to have a +1. If we if we do no, and what are we going to have if we don't disengage? We're going to have so that was not a +4, it'd be a +3 because that was wrong. So +3, but a -2 to that, +1, -1 to that. That's us down to 0. That doesn't apply. That doesn't apply. That we get that as a -1, and we get that. So we'd be rolling on a -4, and he's rolling on a +1. So, and he's rolling on the 2 column and we're rolling on the 1 column. Yeah, I think we don't want that maneuver marker as well. I think I'm going to disengage. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Right, so I am going to elect to be disengaging. So he's going to get an extra -2 now. So what was it? He was at a +1. So he's at -1 on this roll, and we're not going to roll on this because we're disengaging. Okay. Well, I've never done this before, so we'll see how it works out. So a -1, and bear in mind if this was a bot, he would elect to be disengaging too because he's disordered. So right, so with a -1 on the 2 column. Oh, that's pretty low. So 10, it takes it down to 9. Is that low enough? So 9. Oh yeah, it is. 9's the number, isn't it? Of course. Yeah, because 10 -1. So yeah, he's on the 2 column. It's a 0. So no shots. Now, if we hadn't done that, he would have ended up with 10 + 1, 11. So he would have got a shot on us. So that was the right choice there. Well, it's a die roll. It's a die roll. You never know. So no shots for him, no shots for us. So I think we just skip now straight to morale. Right, so on to morale, right enough. Yeah, we skip by everything else. And remember, we're going to get that extra -2 here for this roll. So that's a not so good part. Let's check him first. Air combat. His aggression is +1. He had surprise. That's +2. Doesn't apply. So he's got a +2. Uh, 13 +2. That's pretty good. I think the +2 is just going to boost him nicely. So 15. Yeah, I mean 13 would have disordered him. So he's got 15. So he's getting a -1 to his aggression, which I will mark. That's Mechlin, isn't it? But just the jets and check. Yeah, we were wanting disorder there. That would have been good, actually. Okay, so now over to us. Well, our aggression value is -1. We were disadvantaged, so that's -2. And we're disengaging, so we've got a -4 to this. 11 -4 is 7. That can't be good. So 6 to 8 is disordered with a -2 to his aggression. Right, that's going to wipe out his aggression completely. So he's now at -3. Now, he's already disordered. I don't know. Part of me wanted to say nothing happens with that, but I'm starting to wonder. What does it say down here? Disordered. Adjust aggression. Fight is disordered. Fights in a defensive field. Break formation. Remove defensive field and scatter the fight. Okay, nothing. 13.11. Fights that become disordered and noted. Fights can recover from disorder. Do not roll for disorder recovery if the fight was. Well, I don't see anything at all. I've got this feeling that there might have been something. But no, I'm not seeing anything, so I can only assume they just stay disordered. There's no other effect. Obviously, the bot would upgrade that disorder to worse, but you know, I would say surely if you had a disordered result. Yeah, I'm sure it would have said something. If not on here, it would have said it under Rule 13.11, surely. Okay, so moving on then. Right, scatter. Now, this is something that we're going to avoid as well. So you'll see there that it says scatter is not applicable to flights making a slash attack, disengaging, or on a defensive wheel. Well, we were disengaging, so now his facing is the same as ours, isn't it? So it's this one here. Remember, an odd die roll will descend him 1 altitude band. We're not really fussed about them descending, we'd rather they stayed up higher, I think. Oh well, that's 10, so he's going to stay at that. Oh yeah, these are close to the front. I need to remember, John pointed out that I was away, miles away from the front, and I'm still taking inherent AA fire, but anyway, that's a 10, so he's going to go down to the right and won't descend. So he's in here. I'll take this off just now. Mechlin. So it's where that it's there, isn't it? Yeah. So, and he was undetected as well anyway, so he's going to move into there. I don't know if we'll become undetected or not. You would think we would. So that's him moved into there. I'll smirk him with the, and then I'll come back to, well no, just in case I forget. Yeah, okay. Well, of course, yeah, dodge doesn't check for scatter. So the next step is markers and bailouts. Yeah, so markers / detection. Place maneuver markers, but you can see they're not applicable to slash attackers or disengaging flights. So the MiG-23 is going to get a maneuver marker. We are not. And that was part of the reason I wanted to do it that way, because cutting our movement in half, just as we've got to high altitude and split the flight so that we've not got the crippled aircraft and we can dash, is kind of frustrating. So, place maneuver markers. Mark disordered / abort status based on morale checks. Nothing doing there. Remove any acquisition. Beaver avoid, SAM avoid, anti-radar tactics, or zoom climb. Okay, so he removes the zoom climb there as well. Flip flight counters to undetected side. So it does flip us to undetected as well, which seems fair, yeah, even though I was disengaging. Right, hang on here. Am I moving up the... Just wonder if they were pointing up the spine there. I didn't show them like that. Anyway, bailout, nothing to do. Mark fuel, so I'll get the fuel marked. Yeah, I was just looking at the flights and wondering if Dodge and that 108 flight had been looking up the spine. I don't think so. If they were, I would be moving them into that hex and free turning them next turn, because I don't want to go near this Fritzlar airfield and we want to head to the orbit point. So I think they were facing at the hex side. So, but if for some reason they weren't, then my first movement point would be in there and a free 30-degree turn with it. So, and then carry on their movement. Okay, mark fuel, so that was 1 for Mechlin, that's his first fuel point spent. And 1 for Dodge, you see. Now this wouldn't apply to the 108 flight. That's why I need a separate flight log sheet now, don't I? You know what, I'm just marking off Dodge, because the other flight's probably not going to get involved again. And there's plenty of fuel left anyway, so. Okay. Well, that's that. Well, let's move on and see if we can get the turn finished then, because I think it's not good. Actually, no, Wolf's going to have a go as well, isn't he? Yeah, Wolf's our final flight. So again, well, he's going to actually randomize between the two flights, because 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 4 away from both of them, Dodge and the 108 flight. So I need to randomise between the two. So I'm going to roll, I'm going to say 108's odd. I rolled even. I don't think I wanted that. So he's, well, I didn't want that, did I? So he's going after dodge. Now he's at low altitude as well. Wolf. Actually, he's no. They can't PVR. Sorry, they can't PVR. So he's going after dodge. Just wonder if because he's going to have to zoom climb as well. At low altitude, don't think he's got as good a speed. Yeah, they start with a speed of 3 or dash at, well, we'd have to dash at 4. I'm not sure he can reach. So that would be 1, 2, 3. No, I can't, can he? Because it's going to cost him 3 movement points to get to high before he's even moved a hex. No, so he can't do this. Well, that's good. Right, let's see what the Booty Card 5 says though. How it instructs things. Well, he can't BVR, so has he got any issues? Wolf, he's got a max turn marker on, he's at low altitude. Yeah, no other problems. So he can just go straight to engagement actions. That was his nearest detected flight. Well, once we rolled between the two, so that's good. So, and there's no point rolling on that, so let's say, so we have to look at the possible standard area combat, but he's not going to be able to reach. So we've determined the target, which we had to randomly select between ties. And we move as follows: combat or dash throttle, whichever is needed to engage. Well, yeah, neither's going to help, but I'm going to set dash because he's going to want to climb to high. Goes move to enter enemy flight hex at same altitude if able from rear hemisphere. Well, if I went in at a lower height, no, I can't do it though, can I? We've already just looked at that. The conditions are that it needs to be, defender needs to be within 1 hex and same altitude or 1 altitude below. That's the defender. So we would need to be higher than the defender. So it needs to be the other way about. So we're not going to be able to achieve that, the requirements. We need to be able to reach at least, well, they can't go very high, but we need to get to high altitude. And I've already said it's going to cost me 3 movement points to reach that. Yeah, so we can't do it. Move to enter enemy flight at same altitude if able. From rear hemisphere, possible. Attempt engagement. Engagement attempt not possible. Move as close as possible to target flight at same altitude, turning to keep it in forward arc. Well, how do we break that down then? I mean, I suppose if you look at it in priority order, it says if engagement attempt not possible, move as close as possible to target flight, and then it's got at same altitude, and then it's got turning to keep it in forward arc. Well, the turning part we can do while we're moving, but we either move closer or climb. We can't do both. So will we go for a balance in between? Right, I'm going to set dash throttle for him. Dash marker. For Wolf. And he's got a speed of 4. So I think maybe we just climb to medium and move up. Does that make... I think that's probably the best we could do. So I'm going to spend my first movement point. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's fine. First movement point to go to medium. Down to 3, and then actually that would come off, so I could actually turn now if I wanted to. And then the next 3, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then a free 60-degree turn. Staying at medium, dash throttle. And that means he didn't zoom climb, but if the situation is the same, next turn he can just climb 1 altitude band and move into the hex. So I think that's probably about the best he could get. Remember, he is adjacent, however, he's one altitude band lower, and we didn't have the movement to do it. So, as far as I'm aware, he can't engage. Well, I've already looked at engagement actions. Defenders are within 1 hex and same altitude. So he is within 1 hex, but he's not at the same altitude, and he's not 1 altitude below. He's actually 1 altitude higher than us, so we can't do it. Okay, well that's fine. That was a bit of a relief. I thought Dodge was going to get another beating. Okay, so all flights moved now. Yes, right. Let me get the blue cubes off them all. Okay, that's that done. So what's next? Red card 4 on it. Tidy things up here a bit. Getting used to knowing what play rate cards I need to look for, which has eventually started doing something for me. So fuel phase, yeah. Fuel phase. Well, we've got sky all the way up the top. Reef. So reef dashed. Spent his second fuel point, not a big issue. Who else we got? We've got quite a few, haven't we? We've got Klein, who dashed. What is the flight? I need to remember the cripple flight. It's Dodge, yeah. Oh. Oh, no, it's not Dodge. It's the 108 flight, yeah. I was like, what is the point in that? I can't dash. I was forgetting we split them. Okay. So it was actually Dodge that dashed. So again, he's marking off a fuel, but that's 2 fuel points extra he's got that 108 flight didn't use because it wasn't dashing and it wasn't in the combat. Wolf dashed. Come off, that's his second point. And, well, that's not quite that. There's one on a card. The MiG-23. The MiG-23 dashed, which is Mechlin, isn't it? Yeah. That's his second point as well. Right. So that's that. Right, next we have recover aircraft that left the map. Well, not quite, but next turn we will be doing that for reef flight away up the top there. So none of that's amplification phase, no track phase. Well, yeah, we can roll on this. Again, it's only relevant. Well, flights that low on their own side of the front. There's nothing at deck, is there? Again, maybe just the helicopter. Well, actually, the helicopter's not, is it? I was wise, I think, in moving it to low. So, yeah, I'm just going to roll this. I don't roll this on camera. So, on the C column, checking for NATO flights. I've rolled 15, which I think might be nothing. Oh no, it is. It's high enough up. It's actually hearts. So, any heart flights, and it's not in curly brackets, will be undetected. Yeah, I'm going to have to go soon. So that's a spade. He's undetected, he's undetected. That's a diamond. Yeah, that was the same as that. Oh, we've got nothing. Most of our flights are undetected, actually. Right, so, and then for them, on the D column, now they do have some at low that might be, well, maybe across the front. 10. So it's a heart and curly brackets. No. That's a spade up there. That's a diamond. No, I don't think they've got anybody. I think Wolf and Mechlin are hearts, but they're undetected anyway, so... Okay. Alright, I'm going to have to go. This dog's getting a bit frantic there. SAM acquisition phase. None of that. So admin phase. Flights roll for disorder recovery. Well, both Dodge... Yeah, of course, I'm marked. See, that's the other thing. 108 flight has only got a -1 to its aggression. I'm going to have to take note of that. I'm going to mess this up if I don't. So hang on. 108 flight. 108, he has -1 aggression. he has 1 crippled aircraft and 1 undamaged aircraft. 1 undamaged. And then I can take the 2 fuel points. He spent 3 fuel. He spent 3 fuel. And that's it. He's no radar. He's no radar homing missiles. He's only got guns and infrared missiles, but that's applicable to both of them anyway. Right, so I think that's that. So what was I doing there? Yeah, checking for disorder recovery. Well, Dodge can't, even if he could, but he can't. Well, for multiple reasons. One, he was attacked in air-to-air combat this turn, so he can't. But the other thing is, he's at -3 aggression, so he can't roll 23. So, and then 108 could, because he wasn't attacked, but however, he's got a -1 aggression, so you'd need to roll 21. So, none of that applies. Now, what's the other flight? The other flight is their Klein, is it? What's his aggression? He's on a -1 as well, so he would need a 21. But you can see he's possibly going to get to his airfield next turn. Oh, wait, hang on. We've got Vegas as well, which was disordered. But my guess is, what is his? Well, actually, he's on a +1. Now, hang on, though. He got attacked this turn. Yeah, he got attacked this turn. That's why he got attacked by Markov. That's why they're both scattered and undetected. Okay, so they can't check for him as well. But he is at a +1 aggression, so he could have took a roll, but obviously you need 19 or 20. Right, split flights, not going to do that. Roll to remove shutdown markers, not going to do that. However, I think the step in between that, in my eyes, should be to tick these down, because once this ticks down to 0, then I would be rolling to remove the shutdown marker, and I think it happens in the same stage. So I would just put a wee step in between that to say tick down your suppression, because it doesn't say it anywhere else. So I don't know. If I've got that wrong, let me know. So I'm ticking that down to 2. That one does not tick down because it just happened this turn. Then we roll to remove down shutdown markers. So if this had went to 0, we would roll to remove that. Not happening. Switch radars. Remove SAM launch markers. Well, there's one of them. Yeah. Careful, Grant. So remove SAM launch markers, radar AA fire markers, zoom climb markers. Well, we already removed the zoom climb marker, and I want to say that this is a radar AA fire marker. Keep that. Radar suppression. Suppress for 6 turns now. He's facing the side. That comes off. This one didn't have one on because it got suppressed the last time, so it wouldn't have fired. None of the rest of them have fired. That's it, I think. Yeah, okay, good stuff. Right, so, and then finally, move the dice on to 6. So we're on to turn 6 when we return. Okay, I should get another bit done today. Yeah, I better get away to see this dog go. So it's the start of a new turn next turn. Right, okay. Right, I'll be back soon. Cheers.